Hello, Mitchell Lee, Tommy Grant, Brandon too here with you. And personally, these are my favorite podcasts. I bet Tommy and Brandon might not like them quite as much.
You just talk the whole time?
But here's the thing, Brandon, it's different because I put in the work.
No, that's fair.
I put in the work.
You're ready to do whatever you want.
Also,
no. This isn't about the work. This is where Mitchell give his solid opinion, and we are forced to listen to it for a straight.
Not even an opinion. He just lists off movies, which I'm fine with. But I love it.
This is like listing football players, you know.
I try my hardest to keep up with Mitchell on his rankings, so I can try and get as many. But 2011, I gave up because this was such a bad year for movies.
Sure.
No.
Is the next year 2012?
I got 67 movies. I was like,
nope,
this isn't
okay. The next year, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of I'm going to watch 2012 stuff, and I've already started on that. I'm already got, let's see. I have 39 out of 140 or so movies from that year already watched.
Okay.
And I'm also going to kind of double dip and get into a bunch of 70s stuff because I have about as many movies for the whole decade. And I have a lot of blind spots that I really like to make not blind. So I'm going to kind of double dip a little bit, but 2012 is definitely a priority.
Can you give me like a 70s movie that I would like enjoy?
A 70s movie that you would enjoy that you haven't seen? Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie Network?
No. Would I enjoy it?
Check that out. It's very interesting. It is.
I think I'm gonna.
Movie.
Now that I go to Alamo and go to Video Vortex, I'm gonna join you on this quest.
Yeah, 2012 and the 70s.
2012 and the 70s. Okay.
Yeah,
I am doing.
But let's
send the list. Send the list.
Oh, okay.
Me personally, I am starting to do 25th anniversary movie, so I'm doing 2001 this year.
Okay, that's fair. Hey, 2001 iconic year. You got a lot of great stuff in there. 2011. Let's just go ahead and put the cards on the table. This was a year that I when I went into doing the 2010s, I had my projected rankings for what I thought the years would stack up as. And 2011 was like 5 tiers below every other year this decade.
Tiers. Yes.
And I will say, as someone who just watched 145 movies from 2011, I think it's going to end up 5 tiers below every other year this decade. This was a tough year to get through. Now, before we go into the bottom 10 and work our way up to the top 10, I want to go through the raw numbers of this year. So we had 145 movies total. And let's see how it stacks up against 2010. 2010, we had an A plus percentage of 3.1. There were 4 A+ movies. 2011, 0.0. Not a single movie got an A+, which means this will be the weakest number one. Not one movie got an A+.
I'm thinking of a very famous sports movie that you didn't give an A+.
Brandon, this might be a tough podcast for you then. Just saying.
Can I fire off my joke then? Are you saying that 2011 is basically...
No, Moneyball was not a 5-star movie. Shut up.
You're basically saying there's the Yankees. There's 2017. There's 2010. There's 2012.
Is Moneyball in your Hall of Fame?
There's us, and then there's 2011. Down here by a pile of crap. 50 feet of crap. Oh, man.
2011 had no A+ movies.
Moneyball is definitely in my Hall of Fame.
As far as movies that were 4.5 stars or higher, 2010 had 10, good for a percentage of 7.9. 2011 had 9, good for a percentage of 6.2. Movies I would give an A or above. 2010 had 17, good for 13.4%. 2011 also had 17, good for 11.7%. So those percentages are lower, and that's really what I prioritize as far as stacking the years up. Because if you notice, now the numbers are going to start to tilt in 2011's favor. But I don't really care as much about like the percentage of liked versus disliked. You know, how many B's and B minuses you have. I'm all about stacking the very top.
B's and B minuses in movie terms don't mean anything.
So this year, last year's fresh to rotten ratio was 31.7% fresh to 68.2% rotten.
What are you considering rotten, by the way?
Anything that I would give a 2.5 stars or below.
Okay.
2011, it was 57 movies fresh, 88 rotten. So that would be 39.3% compared to 60.7% would be the number there. So it is a better ratio. 2010 had a 30.9% of movies I would give either a 1.5 star or below. 2011 at 27.5. So it is a bit lower. And if you take the average of all of the movies, 2010 I had 2.28968, and in 2011 it's 2.39862. So it is a higher average, but I really prioritized the percentage for the movies that I loved, the percentage of movies that I would go back and rewatch over and over again. And those numbers were seriously lacking for 2011 to the point where I didn't have a single A+ movie. So that's the big problem. All right.
I thought you'd at least have 2, but we can get to it.
Nope. No, we had a few that got close, but nothing that quite got there. All right, let's start things off with the bottom 10 movies of 2011. Starting off with the number 10 worst movie of the decade. Or not the decade, wow. No, just the year.
Might as well be.
Just the year. Just the year. And this was probably the movie I have, I don't want to say the least respect for, but lazy as hell. That's Apollo 18. This was a movie about like space crabs or something like that. And it was remarkably, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Space crabs.
That was also my bottom 5.
It was just, and it was only an hour and 26 minutes with credits, and that still felt way too long. This was a movie that it was on that found footage trend and had nothing going on for it. Just awful all the way around. Number 9, that would be the Paul W.S. Anderson version of The Three Musketeers, starring Mila Jovovich for some reason. It was basically a Resident Evil movie with the Three Musketeers in it.
Hell yeah.
Orlando Bloom was really bad in this movie. Christoph Waltz was in this movie and terrible.
Dude, I think Christoph Waltz was just doing things in this stuff.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But this was one of those movies that seemed to go on forever, despite it being an hour and 50 minutes. It was a mainstay on bottom 10 lists, and I completely understand why. Number 8's a movie that I understand that I hate more than most. I get it. Some idiots even think it's incredibly rewatchable, but not me. Just go with it. No.
Ooh.
I'm not going to just go with it, Adam Sandler. This movie never had me laughing. It was painfully uncomfortable to watch. And more than anything, it wasn't funny. And if you're a comedy and you're not funny, then you failed at everything you're trying to do. Number 7, a movie that should have completely killed the whole DC thing before it started, because once Sucker Punch was released, I don't know how you hand the keys to Superman and Batman over to that guy. I don't know if either of you guys have seen Sucker Punch, but it's a great title because it truly feels like a sucker punch.
Damn.
I have it at 58 on my list out of 67.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't think that at any point I would have liked this movie, but damn, was it just a complete honestly, this movie should have ended Zack Snyder's career. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's that
there
bad.
Was the Green Hornet was in this year,
and we will get to that, Brand, but not yet.
Okay,
not yet. Next up is a movie that I would have had at even odds to be a bottom 3 movie of 2011, and it's at number 6. And most people had it in their bottom 3 for 2011. I still hate this movie. Don't get me wrong. For context, Brandon, as far as the grades that we are giving movies now, where we are already, this movie right here gets an F 17.95.
That's
so
bad.
we are deep in the depths of hell. The bottom 10 started
That's
at
below
F 26.
Back to the Strip.
Yeah. The Apollo 18 was at 26.39. So we are deep in the depths of hell. Number 6, The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Wow.
The worst movie in the Twilight series, and we can't even crack the bottom 5. This was one that truly, and I think the thing that kept it from being bottom 5 was they actually did a really good job of making Kristen Stewart look gaunt when the baby was like eating her from the inside out. But this was an incredibly dull movie with nothing going on, and Taylor Lautner attempting to act. Yikes. Number 5, The Scourge on Humanity that was Happy Madison Productions in 2011 needs to be studied, because everyone involved with the Happy Madison anything in this era needs to be publicly tarred and feathered. That's going to be Zookeeper at number 5 with Kevin James talking to animals, and he like pisses on plants to like.
I bet you that movie made money.
I don't know if it did, because they had so many people in the movie that I don't know if it made money. I feel like it had a bigger budget than it should have. I mean, it didn't make. It had an $80 million budget and made 170. Okay. So it wasn't profitable, but it wasn't like some giant bomb or anything like that. I mean, the biggest losers of this movie are the people that watched them. And my Letterboxd review was the Happy Madison crew should have been declared as a terrorist organization in 2011. And this is true. And this is not the last we will hear from these chuckle fucks as we move forward. Number 4. A group of people. Number 4 is a group of people that really should have known better. Pixar. What the hell, man? Cars 2.
Oh, there's no way.
Cars 2 is that bad.
I'm banning this podcast.
No, I hate Cars 2 because I hate Mater. I hate the character of Mater so much. And Cars 2 is
movie, yes.
But Cars 2 is the Mater movie. It's the Mater movie. It's Mater goes on a dumbass spy adventure. That's the whole movie. And it's the worst pile of shit Pixar could ever possibly imagine. It is impossible for Pixar to make a movie worse than this.
I'm waiting for Cars 4, dude.
I've seen Cars 3. And Cars 3, you know what they did? They said, hey, Mater's going to come in for like 25 seconds and then fuck on off.
Racetrack, baby.
Yeah, they told Mater to go play in a pile of dirt or something and actually have a movie. And you know what? It was decent.
I
Cars
disagree.
2,
I gotta get this off. I disagree with everything about that take, because I have the Cars trilogy as like very clearly like that is like a C movie, C+ movie. I'm not saying it's good, but it's
I gave it an F 14.38. It is quite bad.
Oh my god.
However, there is a significant drop as we get to the medal stand. This movie got an F 0.56. F 0.56.
I'm assuming Jack and Jill is on this list.
For Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star. Directed by Tom Brady. Not that Tom Brady, which, you know, I wish it had been directed by Tom Brady, because then I would be able to hate him even more than I already do. But just anyone named Tom Brady, I hate you and you suck.
You redeemed yourself with this grade, because I do agree with you. It's bad.
The star of this movie is Nick Swartzen, and if I've ever seen anyone in my life with less talent than this guy, I don't know. Because this guy is... Boy... Nick Swartzen sure as hell wasn't born to be a star, I'll tell you that right now. Not a single thing in this movie was funny, and the only thing that kept it from being higher on the list was Don Johnson, who I don't even know why the hell he's in this movie. He could have been doing a fish stick commercial, and it would have been a better use of his time.
Long John Silver.
Than playing the porn producer Miles Deep. Yeah, that's what people are named.
Miles Deep.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Number 2. Last year we only had one movie that fell into this, but this year we have 2. We have an F- 95.87, and that would be Spy Kids All the Time in the World.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen that Spy Kids because I'm trying not to watch it.
I knew it was going to be bad, and I'm glad that I didn't see it in theaters because it came with like smell-o-vision cards.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
where you had like the scratch and sniff, where it's like, oh, the baby shit his diaper, and you wanted to smell that for some reason. So maybe if I saw it in theaters, it would have actually taken the number one spot, but I didn't have the displeasure of doing it because I, tore ligaments in my shoulder that weekend. True story. Actually, I think it might have been the weekend before that, but either way, I wasn't seeing Spy Kids movies that day. Terrible movie, a waste of everyone's time. I really don't know what the hell. Was it Joel McHale in this? Joel McHale's in this. Jessica Alba's in this. Jeremy Piven makes an ass out of himself. It's really quite bad. But number one, and funny enough, my number one last year was Furry Vengeance, or for 2010 was Furry Vengeance, which I do think is a worse movie than the movie I have at number one in 2011.
What's Furry Vengeance is?
This movie got an F minus 78.71, and Furry Vengeance got an F minus 76.96.
Close.
So, the number one worst movie of 2011. It had incredibly favorable odds to get to this spot. I'm not surprised in the slightest. It's Jack and Jill. Again, the Happy Madison crew need to be put on a list.
Did they go up a hill?
Imprisoned. Yeah. I remember the first review I ever saw of this movie was someone said something along the lines of Jack and Jill went up the hill to make a shit movie. Like, and it's like, yeah, this movie doesn't really deserve A material, but that about says it. Adam Sandler just shitting and making loud noises, and it's as bad as you've heard. Yeah, it's as bad as you've heard. You could make the case that it's worse, but I mean, I've heard such horrible things about this movie that I don't know if it could have possibly been worse, but it was that bad. Every second of this movie was a violation of my senses. It's one of those levels of bad. Yeah, Jack and Jill, the crown holder for worst movie of 2011, as far as my opinion is concerned. What are your guys' thoughts on the bottom 10?
I think Cars 2 is a ridiculous take.
Most of what you said.
I'm with you on most of it.
Was in last place. I had Your Highness. I thought that was worse than Jack and Jill.
That was bad. We will get to it, but that was bad.
Saga, Breaking Dawn, Apollo 18, Jack and Jill, and a shitty movie called Cedar Rapids. I don't know if you watched that one this year, but
I did not get to that one.
I'm just glad the Muppets went on here, dude.
No, Muppets would never get.
We'll get to the Muppets. No, I enjoyed the Muppets.
Thank God.
Maybe not as much as a lot of other people, but I did enjoy the Muppets.
I think your Cars 2 take is criminal, but I think everything else is fine.
I had Cars 2 at a 1.5 star, so it was down.
I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, and in following up Cars, what is Cars? I understand why people don't like it, but I don't think it's as bad a movie as people say it is.
I agree with all the shittiness that you just explained, Mitchell. So
yeah.
Let's get to the 6 other movies. Well, we'll go through the whole list, but let's get to the 6 other movies I gave Fs to. The movie that just missed my bottom 10, that would be Beastly. I'm glad we gave up on the Alex Pettyfer experiment. This was basically like, what if Beauty and the Beast was a CW show as opposed to a beautifully, animated Disney movie? This just awful all the way around. If you saw this movie, I'm sorry, but you probably didn't see this movie. Neil Patrick Harris playing a blind guy that he just forgets that he's blind for like half the movie. Sure, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Big Mama's House 3.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a movie that exists. Big Mama's House, like father, like son. There's a chance that I just didn't understand the mythology because I haven't seen the first 2 Big Mama's House movies. But
I think that's on you. Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? The Big Mama's House lore, I think, will be all right.
Tyler Perry, right? That's Tyler Perry, right?
No, that's Martin Lawrence. Tyler Perry's like, you leave me out of that shit.
Yeah, my fault.
No, Tyler Perry had a Medea movie this year, and it was better than this. by a lot. Another one that I didn't see the original, but everyone that saw the original hates this more than even I did, and that's Hoodwinked 2, Hood versus Evil. The people that saw the first and liked it are the biggest haters of this because this is so much
on the
worse.
First one?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Maybe if I had seen it, it would have been in my bottom 10, but it is terrible.
Hoodwink's a good movie.
I've heard good things.
I would imagine this one would suck. I actually did not know they made a second one. That's probably on me.
Most people didn't. Yeah. It's not the same people. Like Anne Hathaway's not back to do it. The Voice, like nothing like that.
What's the point of doing the movie then? What the?
It made no money. So, yeah, not great.
That's like making it Over the Hedge too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Roommate, directed by Christian Christensen, which I would, that's a horrible name. This was another one of those like CW type movies.
Oh.
My review of it is literally just shocked that a movie directed by the great Christian Christensen ended up being total dog shit. And honestly, that's all that this movie really deserves.
Oh my gosh. What is the
next
plot?
Up,
can you give me like a plot?
It's this roommate that ends up being like really possessive over her roommate. So she's
as
like
one does
trying to go after the boyfriend and like just trying to get close to her, and it just like awful things pursue. And by that, I don't mean the things that happen to the character. I mean the things happening to my eyeballs watching the movie. Red Riding Hood. This was
multiple Red Riding Hood movies are just.
Well, this was directed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was the better of the two. This was directed by the director of the first Twilight movie, and it's really bad. Like it's basically like a YA type movie. This was when Amanda Seyfried was doing a lot of those like Dear John and Red Riding Hood, and she didn't really find herself as an actress just yet. But it's at its worst when it's trying to be a Red Riding Hood movie, like actually sticking to like Red Riding Hood stuff, which is really bad considering the movie's called fucking Red Riding Hood. So I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it. Gary Oldman's in it, and it's a complete waste of Gary Oldman too. My final F movie, that would be Season of the Witch, which is a movie that you can tell was delayed like 2 years and was made like 4 years before it actually got released. It's Nicolas Cage, and he's playing like a knight in the crusade, and they're trying to like take this witch to get hanged and see if she's a witch. And I'll be honest, I don't remember too much about the movie. It is an incredibly forgettable movie. It is generic as all hell.
Sorry.
Yeah, honestly, singing that song is a better use of your time than watching the movie. I'll tell you that. All right, we're getting to D minuses now. At number 129, we've got Shark Night 3D. I did not see it in 3D because I don't have a 3D TV.
Shark Night.
Yeah, it's probably a movie that should be worse on the list or lower on the list, but I just didn't really get to hate it as much as it probably deserved.
I'm not going to derail the podcast too much. Have you seen the Sharknado movies?
I have not.
Okay, they might be worth your watch. They might say,
why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know why you would recommend those. He loves
bad movies.
Yeah, but I love bad movies that aren't like, I don't like Sci-Fi Channel bad movies.
I don't see the difference.
Yeah. I like The Room.
Okay, fair. Keep going. No, keep going.
Number 128, we've got the movie that I watched most recently for this podcast, the last movie of 2011 that I watched, Dream House, starring Daniel Craig, with the most obvious twist I've ever seen in a movie, to the point where I looked at the trailer after watching the movie. I hadn't seen the trailer before, and they spoiled the twist in the trailer. And all the comments of the trailer are saying, don't watch this trailer.
That's like the ambulance where they're like, oh, let me show you the entire plot
exactly.
of the movie.
So great job, guys. All the movies below this list, you have the distinct honor of being lower than fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked. So you should be embarrassed.
Shit. You have it that low?
Yeah. 127 for Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked. Wait a minute. Did you think I was going to be like, yeah, everybody go see this movie?
I thought maybe like a C-. That's probably where I would put Alvin.
D-, Brandon. You were close, but D-.
I would give it like a C-. So again, my disagreements with you have been very disagreements so far.
Your disagreements have been very disagreement.
Yep, very disagreeable. Disagreeable was a better.
Yeah, we're at a D minus 6.38, so
That
a
is
low D
gross.
minus at that.
You were.
Then we've got
Hating
New
on
Year's
Alf.
Eve. We've got New Year's Eve, which is basically a spiritual successor to Valentine's Day from 2010.
But a better version of it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, most people think this one is worse. And Brandon, you know what's funny? New Year's Eve is number 1013 on my rankings. Do you know what Valentine's Day is?
What is Valentine's Day?
Number 1012.
Nice.
So it is only a marginal step below, but it is below. Number 125 is Priest, and this is basically a spiritual successor to Legion from 2010, and I do think it is better than Legion, but it's another one of these. Paul Bettany plays he's like a priest hunting vampires, because apparently that's what priests do in this movie. It's based on like some graphic novel. Maybe the graphic novel's good, but the movie, no. 124 is The Sitter. It's a Jonah Hill comedy that's basically adventures of babysitting, but like, what if one of the kids did cocaine or something like that? It's stupid. It's not very funny. Sam Rockwell's
so like The
in
Hangover, but like cooler. That was a joke.
No. 123, Something Borrowed. This is a movie that if you made a movie where all of the characters were stupid and unlikable and didn't talk like actual people, you have Something Borrowed. So don't watch that movie. Number 122 is kind of similar. I don't know how she does it. This is a Sarah Jessica Parker movie where everyone involved just kind of seems like they don't give a damn, and it really translates over to the viewer, I'll tell you that. Number 121 is, and I know Tommy watched this and did not like this either, so I'd love for Tommy to step in. The Dilemma. This was a movie that was directed by Ron Howard, who went on, and his next movie was Rush, which is one of my favorite movies of the decade of the 2010s.
Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, baby.
Look, he went from a Kevin James comedy to Rush. How do you do that?
Anything that Kevin James touches
turns to dog shit.
That's not true. That's not true. Kevin James,
really?
Man. I mean, it was true this year. It was true in 2011. I'll tell you that for sure. Zookeeper.
Name me one movie.
I know Kevin James isn't like the greatest.
Zookeeper of Zoo.
Name me one good Kevin James movie. Not TV shows.
First of all, but you said whatever he touches. I'm saying King of Queens. He's objectively very good in that show.
Cinematic TV show. Yes, he's good as a TV show. But in any movie,
look, you won't hear me champion Here Comes the Boom or Grown Ups or Grown Ups.
See, I need to watch Here Comes the Boom for 2012, so maybe I will be championing that next year. I haven't seen it, so I can't say.
The Dilemma was a pile of garbage.
Quite bad.
Was there a dilemma?
There was a dilemma. Whether or not I was going to finish the movie was the dilemma. Number 120, Sanctum, which really lives up to the dumb part of Sanctum. It could have been pretty good if it had good acting or good script, good direction, or any of the other stuff that makes a good movie that this movie just clearly didn't have. There were some cool shots of caves. That's about all you get in Sanctum. Number 119. 119 hurt. I'm not going to lie. 119 hurt because I did not expect to hate Larry Crown as much as I did. But I just hated Larry Crown. Tom Hanks, buddy, you are not a screenwriter. Stick to the acting. You are not a screenwriter. The directing, he wrote and directed this movie. He has strengths. Those aren't among them. That and playing Colonel Tom Parker. Number 118, The Darkest Hour. This is the cheapest ass alien movie because the aliens in this movie are invisible. So they don't have to show or spend money on what the aliens look like. And I'm not saying that can't be cool, but in this movie, it is not cool. I'll tell you that right now. It's not even a little bit cool. Do you know how bad these movies have been, Brandon?
I mean, they're like D-minus like 20 right now, right?
We've been talking for 29. Actually, we've been talking for 30 minutes about 2011, and we are just now getting to the goddamn Smurfs.
Oh, fair.
117.
Hey,
we are just now getting to the Smurfs.
I'm not a big champion of the Smurf movies. I do think the newest one is okay. It's not like the worst movie I've ever seen.
You were the guy that said that.
No, I gave it like a D, right?
Man, I don't know. The Smurfs movie from 2025 might actually be kind of good.
I didn't say that. I said it was like a D, but.
All right, by saying it's a D, you're saying you love it because that movie is an F stamped on its ass.
See what I have to do with Tommy?
But I will say Smurfs is not Smurfs 2 because Smurfs 2, to quote the great Martin Thomas, was my Vietnam. Number 116.
This man just said stuff. He said stuff. I thought that was the emoji movie.
Oh, the emoji movie was missing the chopper out of
your
Vietnam.
Korean War.
Yeah. What 116? Drive Angry. A movie that should have been a lot more fun than it was, but I value my IQ points a little too much, and it just went on for a little bit too long. 115. I know Tommy watched this, and I think Tommy hated it even more than I did. And that's Mars Needs Moms, one of the worst looking movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's a good one for being
Disney
so
just
bad.
had a bad year this year.
Terrible year. Between this and Cars 2.
Story it looked so bad.
This is the type of movie that you would see like playing in the background in a better movie to illustrate how dumb the kids are. Where it's like, look at the kids, they're watching dumb shit. And that's a bad movie.
You know what? This movie had already been made years before, and it was much better. The Jimmy Neutron movie. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And somehow that movie that looked like shit in 2001 looks better than this movie.
Well, you're making fun of Jimmy Neutron's like animation style,
not just moms.
Yeah,
same movie.
Some people are saying, "Hey, Easter doesn't have any movies. Why doesn't Easter have a movie that you can watch every year?" They tried. It was called Hop, and it was fucking terrible, so no one watches that. Just an atrocious movie directed by the same guy, that gave us Alvin and the Chipmunks and Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties. So truly, what could we have possibly expected? Number 113 is the movie that was the very worst on Tommy's list. I Have Your Highness. I was a little kinder to it. I think this was a D for me. Let's see what I can find. It was a D, 28%. I think that, at least it had Natalie Portman in it, and she was, she only made this movie to get financing for Black Swan. Fun fact. So this movie did have a positive impact. If it helped get Black Swan made.
This movie is positive
for her.
No, I'm saying like the studio helped finance Black Swan because
good positive
of this.
Impact. I think you should push it up 50 ranking spots just for that.
Honestly, it might have already been pushed up 50 spots, and that just means that it would have been like minus 18 for the year. But number 112, the Taylor Lautner Leading Man Experience lasted exactly one movie, and that's probably one movie longer than it should have. Abduction was just all around trash.
Can you give me a plot so I can watch it later?
Someone was abducted and he had to go get them.
I mean, was it like an alien abduction movie or like
he finds his picture on one of those like missing kids websites. Like, if you age this kid up like 10 years, this is what he looks like.
That
and
could
it looks
actually
like him,
work as a movie.
And it could, but the director in this movie, who has made movies like Boys in the Hood and Too Fast, Too Furious, I don't know if he was on autopilot or if he just like left his brain in the car when they were, filming the movie, but the direction in this thing was just awful. 111. One Day. This was an Anne Hathaway movie. And again, my review of this was just honestly the best part of this movie was when someone is singing Robbie Williams on karaoke, and I imagined that I was watching Better Man instead. So that should tell you all you need to know about One Day. Maybe one day I'll remember something that happens in this movie. It was pretty forgettable. Number 110, Josh Kornmeyer. I know you like this movie, so shield your ears. Columbiana. This movie sucks. I'm sorry. This is the Zoe Saldana action movie. And the action in this movie is directed so terribly. It's Olivier Megaton, who also did Taken 2. And someone needs to take his ass to, I don't know, prison or something, because I don't want to see him directing movies ever again. Number 109 was The Change Up. This was a pretty bad year for Ryan Reynolds. It was a horribly written movie, and they touted it as written by the same guys that did The Hangover. And I guess they just used all of their good tricks with The Hangover because they didn't have anything left for this year. More on that later.
Ryan Reynolds can't hit everything,
And in this year, he was in a serious slump. 108, The Right. Well, you didn't get much right making this movie. The main character for this thing is some guy named Colin O'Donoghue, and his name might as well have been like Larry Who Gives a Fuck, because he was the least interesting human being I've ever seen in movies. And that's your lead character. So, generic exorcism movie number 125.
Oh, okay.
Not getting anything from me.
Makes sense.
Number 107. I think Tommy might have liked this movie. So shame on you. This movie is Paul. It's a Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movie, but it's not directed by Edgar Wright. And apparently Edgar Wright is what you need to make this.
Simon Pegg. I'm a sucker for a Simon Pegg movie.
I just the writing in it was so bad. Couldn't do it. 106. I don't know what went wrong with this movie other than just everything. It kind of pissed me off. Super. This was a James Gunn directed superhero movie. Starring Rainn Wilson. It was a super low budget, like indie, like superhero thing. This movie pissed me off so much. It made me never want to watch The Office again because Rainn Wilson is so bad in this, and I just this movie made me angry. It probably should be lower, but
I know you like The Office. That's why I was saying you didn't mean.
Yeah, exactly. Number 105. Now we've got the Madea movie, Medea's Big Happy Family.
Okay. No, Tyler
Perry. Tiana Taylor.
You're not a big Madea movie person,
but I'm not a Madea hater either. I'm not one of like. I don't know if Medea's ever going to be in my bottom 10.
No, that's a fair point.
I mean, she has a movie in 2012, so we'll see. But
Madea might get there.
Yeah, I think that's Medea's like Madea goes to like Las Vegas.
This was like the Madea Renaissance.
Yeah, exactly. The Madea-sance. Tiana Taylor's in this movie, and I think her performance in this is so bad that it should have barred her from watching the Oscars on TV, let alone being nominated for one. But she was really good in one battle after another, so if you can overcome this performance, you can overcome anything. Number 104, a movie I kind of had expectations for this. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I had expectations for this, but I thought, you know what, Mitchell? Maybe you'll like Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
And that did not happen. Oh, we're now in the 2-star movies, by the way.
No. I do think Romeo and Juliet, I think the sequel is better.
No, we saw the sequel, and that was worse.
You think?
Sherlock Gnomes? No. No.
What did you give this? What did you give this? Like a D?
I want to say this was a D+, 18.89.
Okay, Romeo and Juliet.
It's in the Sherlock Gnomes range.
Yeah, Sherlock Gnomes. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Number 103 made me realize how much of a fucking idiot I was when I was 16. Because I really liked this movie a lot when I was 16. To the point where I have this movie on DVD. And I might throw it in the trash. That's Battle Los Angeles. Just a horrible alien invasion movie. If you're not 16 and a dumbass, there's nothing for you here. Luckily, it got me when I was 16 and incredibly much a dumbass. Incredibly much. Still am a dumbass. Number 102. That would be Immortals. This was the first movie I ever saw Henry Cavill in. And I think Tommy liked this movie even less than I did. But there's some pretty... there's some really excellent visuals in this movie. There's some sets that are jaw-dropping. There's also some visuals whenever it's not practical where it looks like a diorama that like a 7-year-old would put together. And Henry Cavill's quite bad too.
I really did not like I love mythology movies, and this movie I was excited for to watch, and I just could not believe how bad it was. It felt like it was trying to be a Zack Snyder movie with their action
Yes,
scenes, and it just
it
failed
felt
epically.
very much like a 300 ripoff, and yikes, not good. Well, maybe that's what caught Zack Snyder's attention for Henry Cavill. Number 101. Speaking of superhero movies and DC superhero movies, Green Lantern. I don't think it's the complete bus fire that everyone says it is. Like, it's a D plus for me. There's definitely worse superhero movies out there.
I also don't blame Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no, I do blame Ryan Reynolds. He's quite bad in this.
I mean, sure, but I don't think he's given a lot to.
I don't think he's given much at all, and I really think that the script is to blame for this thing. It's pretty bad. Number 100, The Mechanic. This is a Jason Statham action movie that is truly one of the movies of all time. It's in one ear, out the other. You know, it's about an hour and a half. If it was longer, it'd be lower, but it knows.
I
what
think
it
with
is.
the Jason Statham movie, you either have to have awesome fight scenes or a plot twist like The Beekeeper that just makes it.
Yeah, it isn't. It's very just generic and again forgettable. Number 99, Conan the Barbarian. This is a movie that a lot of people hate, and it was again very popular on bottom 10 lists. And I just couldn't bring myself to hate it the way. I mean, it's a D plus 36.89, so it's nothing special by any means. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I mean, Jason Momoa's not very good in this, but it's got some fun action sequences and, you know, more just mid than, you know, outright awful. But I know Tommy wasn't a fan.
Yeah, no.
98, Unknown. This is a Liam Neeson movie that's just fucking ridiculous. He doesn't know who he is, and this is one of the worst looking movies of the year. I'll say that hands down. 97, Brandon, you were talking about it earlier, The Green Hornet. It was better than I thought it was going to be. This is another movie. Christoph Waltz was bad in this. How do you get a bad Christoph Waltz performance as a villain? They found a way. 96, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. These movies just aren't for me, and I was like
the
pretty
books are good.
okay
The
with
books are
the
good.
first one. I mean, I'm a grown-ass man, so I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this. Number 95, this is where the tomatoes start getting thrown at me, particularly by Brandon. Because I think Tommy agrees with me. Maybe
You
not
cannot
to
be
the extent,
serious.
but Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows.
Oh, thank God. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be something else. I was like,
I didn't
Th-
care. I'll be honest, I didn't care for these Sherlock Holmes movies.
See, I like the first one, but this was a major downgrade, and I did not
carry
like
water
Moriarty
for it.
at all.
yeah, I'm not going to carry water for it, but I definitely would have this in like the B minus C plus.
For me, I can't watch many Sherlock Holmes movies after watching the Sherlock show with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That's
No,
me.
that's clearly.
I think you say after watching Sherlock Gnomes with Brandon, I can't watch these Sherlock Holmes movies.
Sherlock Gnomes is you could argue is better.
It's in the same range.
There's a Sherlock Holmes like movies out there that can be made, but now that they made the Cumberbatch TV
Yeah,
series,
that
I
kind
don't
of
know if
stole
it's
that kind of
worth it.
stole the show. Like you're not going to top that.
Yeah, you really aren't.
Next up is at number 94. That would be Hall Pass at a still a D plus 88.15.
I was gonna have to like log off if it was like a certain movie that I thought it was. But we'll get on.
Not funny. We have our first Oscar nominated movie that we're getting to, or at least Oscar nominated in a big category. We've got at a D plus 89.10. That's Albert Nobbs, and we'll get to my Oscar rankings later, but I truly don't know how this was nominated for anything, and it was just remarkably dull. Number 92, Cowboys and Aliens, a movie that I remember when the trailer came out.
I remember the trailer.
Before Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. And the title card came up, and it said Cowboys and Aliens.
And people started busting. Yeah.
Everyone bursted out into laughter because they're like, "That really? That's what you're calling the damn movie?" Okay, and the movie was not particularly good. but it wasn't the train wreck that I think some people think that it is. Number 91, Happy Feet 2. As someone who remembers liking the first Happy Feet, this one was just an absolute cash grab. But this movie actually bombed spectacularly, so they got no cash from it. Good job, guys. Number 90 is a movie called Prom that was released to theaters that basically was a Disney Channel original of the week. It's pretty harmless, but it also isn't good. Number 89 is a movie called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Sure, I don't really have much to say about that one. Let's keep it moving. We're in the C minus.
Goosebumps movie.
No. But it kind of feels like horror movie, but for little kids.
Yeah.
We're in the C minus range now. We got another Penguin movie, Mr. Popper's Penguins with Jim Carrey.
Penguins popping this year.
Yeah, penguins were popping off. If I was 7 or 8, I would have loved this movie. Unfortunately, I'm 32, so not really much. Not much going on there.
I love how you recognize that though.
Like, number 87, Killer Elite. This is another Jason Statham movie with Robert De Niro, and this movie either needed to be a lot more serious or a lot more goofy. And Jason Statham was just in a lot of movies this year that did not hit the Goldilocks zone at all, and were just too whatever.
Is he in like 2 movies a year, like every year? I feel like.
Yeah, and he's like, my 2 movies are either going to be the dumbest shit you've ever seen. I'm either going to make Beekeeper and Meg 2, or I'm going to make bland shit. And this year he picked bland shit. 86, I know this movie has its fans. I'm not among them, and Tommy is definitely not among them. And that is Rio. I just did not really care for Rio, but Tommy, why did you hate it so much?
Why did you hate it?
I have no real reason other than it just bored the hell out of me. I could not get into it.
Is that the
pretty
one about
boring.
the parrot?
Yeah, it's about the bird and they go down to Rio de Janeiro. It was the second most interesting movie about Rio that came out in April of 2011. So more on that later. Number 85, 30 Minutes or Less. This was Ruben Fleischer's follow-up to Zombieland. And, I mean, I just find... Nick Swardson was in this movie. And every time I see Nick Swardson, I just have an urge to hit him in the face with a baseball bat. So, that's not good.
On the same page on that one.
Number 84, an Oscar-winning movie for some fucking reason. The Iron Lady. That's not like some Gwyneth Paltrow Iron Man spinoff. It's a movie about Margaret Thatcher, where Meryl Streep played Margaret Thatcher. And the fact that she was even nominated for this movie, let alone winning this, it's one of the worst Oscar wins of my lifetime by far. I have no clue how this happened. Meryl Streep can do anything. She can't play Margaret Thatcher. Number 83. This was a movie called The Big Year, and this was about bird watching. And this movie has a
Sign me up.
Movie, well, this movie was an hour 42. It felt like it was 2.5, honestly. It had really bad pacing, but it has a giant cast. Steve Martin, Jack Black, Owen Wilson, Angelica Houston, Rosamund Pike, Rashida Jones, Anthony Anderson, Joel McHale, Jim Parsons, Tim Blake Nelson. This movie got a lot of damn people in it doing jack shit. So not the biggest fan of that. Number 82, Jumping the Broom. I'll be honest, I don't have a single thing to say about this movie except it's what if we had Crazy Rich Asians, but we got it off Temu. So that's what that was. 81, Take Me Home Tonight. I don't think this was the disaster that a lot of people said that it was, but it's just not as funny as it thinks that it is. Number 80, weirdly enough, the winner for fucking damn Best Picture, The Artist. I maybe between this and Babylon, I may never like a movie with the premise of silent film star can't adjust to talkies. I just didn't find this movie very interesting, and the fact that it won Best Picture, Harvey Weinstein was on some shit that year, pulling strings behind the scenes because he was behind this, and this won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor. How the hell it did any of those things, I'll never know. Number 79. Apparently, we're just doing back-to-back. We're in the 2.5-star rankings now. The Tree of Life. I can recognize the beauty of the movie, and I can also recognize that I am just not the type of person that's going to sit down for this, like, what is life, like, shots of nature and, you know, operatic music and just, like, maybe it's operator error, but this was just never going to be a movie that I really got into. Number 78, Hannah. Tommy and I seem to be on the same page about this one. Saoirse Ronan's good in it. A young Saoirse Ronan plays like a badass girl going after this agency, but it's also quite boring and goes on for quite some damn time. Number 77, we got another movie that was nominated for Best Picture that everyone loves, and I just found so many of the characters so annoying, and that's Midnight in Paris. I wanted to love Midnight in Paris the way everyone else did, but if it weren't for Marion Cotillard, I would have had this movie a lot lower. There's a reason why none of these actors in this giant stacked cast were nominated for Best Actor, Actress, anything like that. And I think that the script really lets it down in a way that if someone else's name was attached to it, I think it would have gotten a lot lower marks. 76, we talked about this already on a podcast, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. No need to really dive too much deeper into that. 75, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Ooh.
A movie I wanted to love because it's got a great cast. I mean, Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, Tom Hardy, Mark Strong, Benedict Cumberbatch, John Hurt. Unfortunately, it is boring as hell, but the actors do a good job. Number 74, Ip Man 2, a movie I just watched this week. Again, I have not seen the first Ip Man, so I could be missing out on a lot, but this movie is kind of ridiculous as hell, and I appreciated that about it, but it was just kind of all over the place to the point where I couldn't really attach myself as much as I could have otherwise. Number 73, I Am Number 4. Again, the great Alex Pettyfer experiment. Glad it was a short-lived one, as the YA let's turn every book into a movie trend was big right here. Number 72, and Tommy, I wonder, have you seen the movie J. Edgar? About J. Edgar Hoover?
I have not.
You would think that a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio as J. Edgar Hoover, directed by Clint Eastwood, would be like, hey, 2011, you're like that.
Higher.
Hey, this could be like higher for you. This could be a top 5 movie. But this movie is boring as hell. It's got horrendous pacing, but DiCaprio is really good. And
did he get nominated? I'm assuming he did.
No, this movie was completely shut out of the Oscars. Yeah, no, this movie had like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's Clint Eastwood. That's Clint Eastwood snubbery right there.
It was disappointing, Brandon. All right, fair. Now we've reached the time for the mid-medal stand. I know everyone loves this. We've got the bronze, the movie getting the bronze, and that's Paranormal Activity 3. Some people really hold this up as one of the better Paranormal Activity movies, and nothing happens for the majority of it. I think the ending is pretty interesting. And you could say that's the case for a lot of Paranormal Activity movies, but I think the ending in this particular one does some stuff that really bumps this thing up. I'm going to move from 71 to 69 to get to the silver medal, and that is a movie called Machine Gun Preacher, starring Gerard Butler, which is nowhere near as interesting as that title makes it sound. The script here is just, it's not great. But the gold, the most mid movie of 2011, a movie that really doesn't fit the title of mid at all, because it is all over the place. There are some really good things, and there are some really terrible things. And that would be The Hangover Part 2. I did not hate this. This was a movie that got a lot of hate. And that is because it is the exact same movie as the first movie. The exact same movie. But they do kind of heighten things up a little bit. It's just not quite as funny. But I like these movies more as mysteries than they get credit for. And I'll admit, this thing kept me guessing. So we'll see. Number 68, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. This has kind of become a cult classic for people. I wasn't quite on the same page. Number 67, the Footloose remake. This did introduce me to Miles Teller a little bit, but the contrast between how good the lead actor and how bad Julianne Hough are is kind of shocking. Number 66, another Oscar-nominated movie, a movie I loved the first time I saw it, but completely fell off a cliff this time around. Extremely loud and incredibly close. Just couldn't connect to it anywhere near as much. 65, Final Destination 5. This was an entertaining movie, but I just can't get past some of the horrible acting that was in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect good acting in that franchise. It's more of are the kills good, and I think if I remember right, this one kind of tied it back to the very first movie, which I kind of liked. But yeah, it's a very mid movie.
64, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas. It got some laughs out of me. 63, What's Your Number? I think that Anna Faris and Chris Evans have some good chemistry here, and Chris Evans is just great in rom-coms. Put him in more of those. I mean, Tommy, I know you really liked Materialist last year.
Yep.
He's great in this sort of thing. 62, Tower Heist. It's nice to see Eddie Murphy and Ben Stiller, but I just, I like Ben Stiller more in this than a lot of his other stuff, but it's only so good, I guess. 61, Young Adult. Jason Reitman fell off a cliff after Up in the Air, and this is a really uncomfortable movie to watch. 60, Bad Teacher. I mean, it's got my guy Justin Timberlake in it, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not higher because of that.
But they don't really use him very well. Cameron Diaz is great, though. 59, Arthur. This is a movie I thought I was going to hate a lot more than I did because Russell Brand's a piece of shit, but I thought that the movie was actually kind of endearing. Number 58 was Super 8. I think Tommy and I are on the same page about not loving this movie the way that a lot of others have.
Yes.
It's clearly low-rent Steven Spielberg, and it just kind of ends in a way that made it seem like they had no idea how to actually conclude the movie.
It felt like an experimental movie for J.J. Abrams. Like, from his other works, like, it's definitely in line with what he likes to do, but it just seemed like it was more like an experimental film for him, and it did not land at all for me.
57, another one with my boy in it. We are now in the Fresh movies. This is the lowest rated Fresh movie, and that is In Time with my guy Justin Timberlake. I think that the premise of this is just fantastic, and I'd really like to see this movie get remade because I want to see this premise done, I guess, better, but it's a stylish movie. It's fun to rewatch. But it's.
I feel like this could be made.
Doesn't make a lick of sense. Show. I think they tried to at some point, and it just didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, JT had it going on in this one. Number 56, Rango. I really came around on this because I remember the first time I saw this movie, I absolutely hated it. And there are things in this, like there are times where the animation's amazing, and times where I really didn't like it. And there are times where I really loved the scripts, and other times where I really loved it. Kind of all over the place, but I would recommend it. Number 55, Scream 4. This is a Scream movie that people look back on very fondly. But I think a lot of that is because it concludes so interestingly with Emma Roberts and everything going on with her character. I think it's slept on as far as her being one of the better characters. Her and I think Hayden Panettiere also gets brought into that as well because they brought her back for the sixth one, and her character was a lot of fun here. I think that what they do the worst in this movie is actually all the stuff with the OG cast. The new cast really carries this, and I wish they'd given them more room to run. 54, Contagion. I mean, I remember watching this while sick, which wasn't great, but I didn't find it anywhere near as interesting as maybe I wanted to, and there were so many different things to follow that I felt like I couldn't get attached, but it was still a good movie.
It felt weird watching it because it literally was like play by play exactly how COVID happened,
Yeah. I
and
imagine
it
that
was
felt
very
different
surreal
in
watching.
2020 to watch. I watched Outbreak instead, which I think was the better movie. 53 Puss in Boots. The second movie's such a big upgrade from this. It kind of makes the first one kind of tough to watch now. 52 Thor. Um a movie I liked a lot more on rewatch than I thought I would. 51 was the remake of The Thing. It's a good movie, but again, you can't replicate the practical effects of the original The Thing,
Yep.
and they have some pretty bad CG effects in here, and that kind of like it's like kind of shitting on John Carpenter's, but there's a lot of good things here too. Number 50, back to the MCU with Captain America: The First Avenger. Some people think this is kind of low. Um, I mean, I'm just not crazy about the first one. I remember I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but the one takeaway that I had that I still had when I came back and watched it and liked it more was I didn't like the movie he was in, but you nailed the casting of Chris Evans as Captain America. And that's the
Yep.
most important thing about this movie.
Yep.
And that's what turned out to be true. Number 49, Real Steel. I think you liked this one a good bit more than me, Tommy. It's an interesting premise to the movie, but it's a good time.
I'm a sucker for Hugh Jackman. What can I say?
Number 44, or rather 48, was Insidious. I'm not the crazy fan of this that a lot of other people are, but I understand why people were so interested in Chapter 2 as soon as this one came out, which I still need to see. 47 was a big surprise for me, and that is the movie Water for Elephants. And I think that this thing really shows that Robert Pattinson, because this came out 2011, height of the Twilight phenomenon. And I think Robert Pattinson actually flexes some major acting muscle in this movie, going head to head with Christoph Waltz and Reese Witherspoon. It's an interesting one. It's 2 hours, which I think this could have been cut down a bit, but it was definitely one of my bigger surprises of the year for
I
sure.
think that's one of my fiance's favorite Robert Pattinson movies.
Well, I don't know about favorite Robert Pattinson movies because he's been
for
in
her,
so many good
not for.
Well, tell your fiance to get
She-
educated with
Brand-
Robert
Brandon,
Pattinson.
don't you know this
she-
is This is Mitchell's
Tell
time.
your fiance to turn on Good Time.
She also likes the stage play.
Nobody else is allowed to have opinions on movies.
Yeah, that's right. One of my
Hell no.
continue, please.
46, that would be Batman Year One. After watching Batman Under the Red Hood for 2010, this was definitely a disappointment and a drop off in quality in a big way. But I mean, it's still a good animated Batman movie, and I'll be watching another one. I'll actually be watching 2 animated DC movies for 2012: Justice League Doom and Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. So looking forward to both of those. 45 was Attack the Block. This was the movie that introduced the world to John Boyega. And it's an interesting premise. It's a fun time, but nothing too memorable. Number 44 is a movie that I know I have way too high, but it was a movie that I rewatched so many times back in the day, and the action in it is still so much fun that I can forgive the dumb shit, and that's Transformers: Dark of the Moon. There's a lot of fun to be had with this movie if you just completely turn your brain off and let yourself go duh mode for 2.5 hours. And I can do that with this. So, number 44. Number 43, The Debt. This is a movie directed by John Madden. We got a lot of football people directing movies. Not that John Madden, but if you liked Munich, this is basically Munich. It's very similar to Munich. Number 42, speaking of Spielberg, War Horse. Talked about War Horse. Don't need to talk about War Horse more. 41 and 40 are basically the same movie. 41 is No Strings Attached. We had a lot of movies about this topic in 2011. The whole Friends with Benefits thing. And then number 40 was Friends with Benefits. And I just liked Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis as a combo better than Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. I don't know how they ended up so close to each other. They just kind of did. I think Ashton Kutcher sucks as an actor and as a person. So I mean, the person thing didn't play into the rating at all. But if Natalie Portman had been cast against a cucumber, this movie would have been better.
Mila's one of his better friends, and also.
Well, Mila's also. Well, they're actually married. Mila's a piece of shit as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, she's also not a great person.
But Justin Timberlake. Yeah, I will be. I kind of name a child after you, or maybe have kids with you. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, I mean, you could, but okay.
I don't know how we can make that work. Sperm donation. I don't know.
I was thinking you name your kid Timberlake, but anyway.
Timberlake Lee. Timber. It's going down. 39. We've got Beginners. This is a movie that won Christopher Plummer an Oscar, and the movie's fine. I have no idea how Christopher Plummer won Best Supporting Actor for this movie. He plays a guy that finds out in his late 70s that he's gay, or I don't think he finds out, but he comes out. And then he gets cancer, and Ewan McGregor's his kid. And it's a good movie, but it's kind of forgettable. How the hell did this win Best Supporting Actor? 38, Brandon, might be a little low for you, but it's The Muppets. I'm not as high on this movie as seemingly everyone else
low,
is. But it's a sweet, enjoyable movie.
And then it gives us the greatest opening number of another song of the sequel. We're doing a sequel, so
I need to watch that one. Haven't seen Muppets Most
the
Wanted.
The sequel's good. Yeah.
37, Like Crazy. This was the movie that I think introduced us to Felicity Jones, and she's great. The director of this movie, Drake Dormus. Honestly, the direction of this movie was kind of closer to Drake Dumbass because it was not good direction here. Number 36, Dolphin Tale. Yeah, you forgot this happened, didn't you? This was an incredibly heartwarming movie, and it just did its job. Morgan Freeman shows up as the doctor to help the dolphin, and it's just an easy, crowd-pleasing movie that did its job. Number 35 is, you can't say I'm a Will Ferrell hater, but Tommy didn't like this movie, and that's Everything Must Go. This was a movie, it was kind of nice to see Will Ferrell in a movie where he's only acting like a dumbass half of the time. I don't know. I just found this movie, I was never bored watching it. It moved quickly, and I was interested to see what would happen next with this guy. Number 34, lowest you'll see a Martin Scorsese movie, and that's Hugo. That's Martin Scorsese's kids movie. It ended at a very charming place, but it really took its sweet ass time to get there, and I don't know. Speaking of movies that take its sweet ass time to get there, Winnie the Pooh, number 33, absolutely not one of them, because this movie is an hour and 3 minutes long. An hour and 3. I don't know how it even got theatrical release, but it was kind of perfect for what it was going for. Number 32 is the exact opposite of Winnie the Pooh, because this is an NC-17 movie about sex addiction. We're into the B+ movies now, and the first NC-17 movie I have ever seen, that was Shame. Michael Fassbender, really good in this. So is Carey Mulligan. It's really an exhausting movie, though. It's a movie that makes you like if you were in the mood and you were like, oh yeah, I want to watch something that's going to get me and my wife in the mood, and you put on this movie, you two might not do anything for the rest of the year. It's a movie that makes the topic of sex seem dirty and exhausting.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Michael Fassbender. Yeah, man. He's great in this, but
this seems like the exact opposite of the reaction to Armie Hammer and Timothy Chalamet.
well, there's a lot of nudity in this movie, and Michael Fassbender's not afraid to show some dick. And
that's fair.
Honestly, if that was my dick, I wouldn't be afraid to show it either.
That's what you're getting in NC-17, dude.
Yeah. Hey, man, it is what it is. There's a lot of it. Number 31. Horror remakes are usually really bad, but I really enjoyed the Fright Night remake. That was so much fun. Anton Yelchin, R.I.P. We lost a really talented actor when he died tragically young. if you have not seen the Fright Night remake, I've never seen the original Fright Night. That's on me. I need to do that. But this movie is just so much fun. And it's, it was directed. I actually just saw a movie directed by this guy earlier today. He directed Supergirl. So clearly his career's gone downhill. Number 30. I'm surprised this ended up so low. I'm disappointed in myself that it ended up so low, but I'm sorry. Some of the really dumb things in this movie, I just can't really get past, and that's Crazy Stupid Love. The Ryan Gosling supremacy was real in 2011, and he is the best thing going in this movie. I think that Steve Carell's character lives up a little bit too much to the second word in that title, particularly towards the end of the movie. But this is still one that is hella rewatchable. And if you haven't seen Crazy Stupid Love, where the hell have you been for the last 15 years? Number 29, back at it again with Mr. Gosling. That's The Ides of March. This is directed by George Clooney, and it's a political thriller. And I'll be honest, it feels kind of naive to watch in the year 2026. This is definitely a pre-Trump movie. But if you watch it through that lens, it's a good one. I can't deny that. It's a good one, and this should have been nominated for Best Picture over stuff like The Artist and Tree of Life and Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close. 28, a movie that really grew on me through the years, and that's Bridesmaids. I don't love it the way a lot of other people do. I think that having a penis contributes to that just a little bit, but Melissa McCarthy, this was truly a star-making performance, and I understand why she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this. She really put herself on the map with this. Number 27, The Lincoln Lawyer. The McConaissance really kicked off with this one. He is spectacular here.
What number?
27. I thought it could get into the top 10 when I first started watching 2011 movies as well.
So low.
The guy that plays Ryan Phillippe in this movie, the guy that plays like the guy that they're trying to figure out whether he committed murder or not, looks a lot like Zach Wilson. So I had this unending desire to beat his brains in with a golf club, and I think that really contributed to my enjoyment of the movie.
I think I would have this like as an A. After we watch it,
we're in the B+ range.
Okay.
Number 26 is a movie that I had never even heard of, but it was Oscar nominated, and I watched it. I'm glad I did. It's called A Better Life, and Damian Bashir was nominated for Best Actor here, and it's about this immigrant in Los Angeles, and he's trying to give his son a better life while it just his day-to-day is working in landscaping and that sort of thing. It's a heartbreaking movie, but it's also just it captures this guy's day-to-day so well. It's enthralling for an hour and a half. Number 25, a movie that so much better than I thought it was going to be, Our Idiot Brother. Paul Rudd is a lot of fun in this. If you've not seen Our Idiot Brother, it's a quick 90-minute watch. Loaded cast: Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, Zooey Deschanel, Emily Mortimer, Rashida Jones, Steve Coogan, TJ Miller, which that part's not great, but he's not in it much. Catherine Hahn, Adam Scott, a lot of great people in this movie. Would definitely recommend it. Number 24, we already talked about it, Adventures of Tintin. Probably my number 3 animated movie of 2011. Number 23, Martha Marcy May Marlene. I don't know how Elizabeth Olsen was not nominated for an Oscar in this. This was her very first movie, and she's a lot to do in this thing, and she does it all incredibly well. Number 22, Limitless. This was a movie that really put Bradley Cooper on the map as being a big-time star. We're also in the A- movies now. I think Martha Marcy May Marlene was, and Adventures of Tintin was too. But yeah, him and Robert De Niro go back and forth so well. Kind of a preview of what's to come in Silver Linings Playbook. 21, Brandon, this is one I'm definitely like with a bullet. You need to watch this. It's a movie called Win Win, and it's about this guy played by Paul Giamatti. It's kind of like The Holdovers version 1, where he is this like down on his luck wrestling coach in high school, and he becomes a legal guardian to this kid who's like really damn good at wrestling, but he doesn't really want to do it. Um, and it's this whole story about him connecting with this kid, and I would highly recommend. It's by the same guy that directed Spotlight, so I would recommend checking this one out. All right, we're finally in the top 20. We've got back-to-back Matt Damon.
I'm glad my movie made it to the top 20, just so we can just say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's coming. Number 20, we've got The Adjustment Bureau. Matt Damon and Emily Blunt have unbelievable chemistry in this movie.
Cooking in this one.
Yeah, and it's just such a fun premise as well. I don't know. This director went on to do absolutely nothing, and that's kind of surprising because this movie was a really solid effort. Number 19, another Matt Damon, We Bought a Zoo. This is just Charm City. This is
a comfort movie.
It's cheesy, but it's just charming as hell. Matt Damon, Scarlett Johansson. You get a young Elle Fanning in here. It's a really charming movie, a very easy watch. It's 2 hours, but it's 2 hours that goes by pretty quickly. Number 18, by far my favorite comedy of the year, and that would be Horrible Bosses. This was a movie I did not expect to be anywhere near as funny as it was. It's actually one of my favorite comedies of the decade, if we're being honest. I think Jason Bateman, Jason Sudeikis, and Charlie Day just work so well together. And Tommy seemed to like it even more than I did. Really, really impressed by this one. Number 17, I teased it earlier. Let's talk about the best movie that takes place in Rio in April of 2011, and that would be Fast 5. That's the best of the Fast and Furious movies, without any question whatsoever. It's an
better than X. No, I'm just kidding.
Better than
that
what?
was a joke. That was a joke. Fast X.
Yeah, well, it's better than all of them. It's the best Fast and Furious movie. It's got great action. The Rock is a really solid entry. I mean, this was back when The Rock was making like The Game Plan and Race to Witch Mountain. So him being in this type of action movie was a great career pivot for him. So
he
much
made the
fun.
Tooth Fairy yet? I think he might have.
Yeah, Tooth Fairy was the year prior, and I think that was one where he said, "All right, enough with cut the shit. We need to go into Fast and Furious," and it's just so much fun, and it's probably the movie from 2011.
The last ones, while the plot still made relevant sense to what
I don't even know if it made relevant sense, but you could say that it's trying at least. This is probably the movie that I've watched the most out of any 2011 movie, save for one coming up in my top 10. Number 16, a big shock for me, and that was My Week with Marilyn. This is a movie about Michelle Williams playing Marilyn Manson, not even a little bit close. Marilyn Monroe.
Monroe, baby.
And Eddie Redmayne plays like this
plays
guy
JFK. Just kidding. That was a joke.
No. He plays like this guy that's very new to film sets, and he strikes up like a friendship/romance with Marilyn Monroe. And it's a very short-lived thing, but it's kind of just taking you through that period of time in his life and the absolute just spotlight that was on Marilyn Monroe. It's a fascinating movie. If you have not seen it, please choose this instead of that god-awful movie with Ana de Armas. This is the Marilyn Monroe movie to watch. Number 15, Arthur Christmas. This was my second favorite animated movie of the year, and it's got like that British sense of humor to it that I don't know why it just kind of hit for this particular movie. It's a great Christmas movie. It's got some great lessons in there for kids, but also it's just one of the better comedies of the year. It's a Christmas classic now in the Lee House. Love this thing. Number 14. Let's talk about Moneyball.
That is such an awful take. It's okay though.
I wanted to love this movie as much as other people do. It's a damn good movie. I just didn't fall in love with it the way that I have other movies. It was definitely a coming out party for Jonah Hill, and I think that the music in this thing has kind of taken on a life of its own for good reason.
I'm clearly the target audience of this movie,
Yes,
But-
you are.
but to me, it might be one of the most rewatchable sports movies of all time. And I say that as someone who's seen this movie now 4 times this year.
Would this be your
So,
number one movie of 2011?
Yes.
I mean, given the fact that this movie is basically about your job, I feel like you're
Well,
more
that's the
biased to
joke.
love
Is
it a lot
is
more.
when I say I work in baseball or I like watch baseball all day, they're like, "Oh, so like Moneyball," and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, yes, but no." I'm like,
Yeah, but,
you
you
know,
know.
yeah. But yeah, I think this would be my one.
I can't really fault you there because I mean, to me, for whatever reason,
This would be
the
a
way
Hall
the
of Fame movie for me because it's so rewatchable.
the way the movie looked pissed me off. I
No, that's
don't even
fair.
know why. Maybe it's because of the way the baseball scenes looked. I don't know, but I understand that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is the Moneyball stuff.
Honestly, even that part of it is also like wildly dramatized and not
Yeah.
real. Like if you read the book, it's like not this like.
But I think I have a problem
yeah,
with
it's
that
still-
in sports movies in general. But I don't know.
So to me, the only other rewatchable movies would be like Bull Durham, Miracle, like
Cool
those type of
Runnings.
movies.
Cool Runnings,
Cool Runnings is also a very
which I
rewatchable
finally
movie.
got to. It's a great movie.
Very rewatchable movie. But yeah, exactly.
Number 13. This is one I don't think either of you have seen, if not even heard of. It's a movie called Take Shelter. This is a movie starring Michael
It's a
Shannon.
tornado movie.
Not really. It's about a
Okay.
guy who played by Michael Shannon, who has a bunch of apocalyptic visions of this storm that's coming. And
Okay, that makes sense.
he basically upends his entire life and like puts his family into like financial ruin, all to protect himself and his family from this storm that's coming, or that he thinks is coming. And it is an incredibly entertaining movie. Michael Shannon should have been Oscar nominated for this. I'm honestly surprised that he wasn't. It's by the same guy that directed The Bike Riders, Brandon. I know you're a big fan of that. Also from the director of Mud, if you've seen that, which is a good one. And Jessica Chastain's in it too. She had a very good 2011. She was in The Debt, and she's in another movie that's going to be in my top 10.
Mud is McConaughey, right?
Mud is McConaughey. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Number 12 is a movie I really, 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 really wanted to get in my top 10. I really wanted to get it in there. You're mic'd or you're muted.
No.
Brandon.
I was just making fun of you. Really, 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 really wanted to get
It's top 5 most rewatchable movie of the year for me. But there's some goofy ass shit in this, and I can't quite get past it to put it in my top 10. But my number 12 is X-Men First Class. I do think that it is. I like it more than Days of Future Past. And I know that might not be a very popular take, but I think that James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are so damn good in this thing. They're so good. I think that like January Jones is quite trash in this. But like Kevin Bacon as the villain is really good here. I was really impressed by this movie. This was a movie I expected to suck because it was coming right off the heels of X-Men Origins Wolverine, but it was so good. And it's a comic book movie I have no trouble recommending to people. I'll say that much. Especially if you like these kind of movies, it's an easy recommend.
I think this was the movie that gave Marvel faith in the fact that they could recast characters as long as they pulled out good actors to replace them. Because I know a lot of people worry because, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart were legendary in their roles. Like replacing them, like that was a huge feat. And the fact that Fassbender and McAvoy pulled it off that well, that was huge for Marvel.
And they kept these actors on for 4 movies, and the back half of those movies, I don't think they really gave a shit. they give a shit here, and they are putting their all into it, and it's fun to watch. Number 11, movie I really wanted to get in there, just couldn't. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Absolutely love you. I think that's the weakest movie of the trilogy. But it's grown on me a lot through the years. And, Caesar's just such an interesting character. But I do think that if I'm watching this trilogy, this is the one that I have the least interest in. I think it peaks at number 2, but
A trilogy throughout.
oh, absolutely, I agree. All right, folks, we're nearly an hour and a half in, but it's finally time for the top 10 movies of 2011.
An hour
And let's go ahead and let's get the grade for this one. This is an A. Let's see, where can we get this thing? An A. An A, 49.96. That would be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. David Fincher. It was not on a lot of lists that year.
That's kind of crazy.
David Fincher. I mean, it's not as good. He made The Social Network right before this, and
I mean, that's
it's not
fair.
as good. It's not as good as
That's because The Social Network's a Hall of Fame movie.
This is also a 2.5 hour movie, and I don't think it quite needs to be that long.
Yeah.
I would have handed Rooney Mara a golden statue. I think she is that good in this movie as Elizabeth Salander, and I think that Daniel Craig is severely underrated for how good he is in this. Between this and Benoit Blanc, I kind of think he should just play detectives forever because he's really good at it and really charming too.
That's the Knives Out trilogy. He staple pieced himself there.
Brandon, I know you're a big trailer guy. I'm going to send you, or you should look at, after we're done recording this, at the teaser trailer for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because I will never forget the first time I saw that in front of X-Men First Class, labeling itself as the feel-bad movie of Christmas. I just was obsessed with that, but I didn't see it for a few years, and finally got around to it. Loved it. Number 9, the best animated movie of the year. Should have won Best Animated Feature, but it lost to Rango. Kung Fu Panda 2.
Oh,
DreamWorks.
yes.
DreamWorks kills these sequels between Shrek 2, Puss in Boots 2, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I've never seen any of the Madagascar movies, but maybe the second one. Nope.
No.
I'm getting the X.
The New York Giants.
But Kung Fu Panda 2. Absolutely. I think it blows the first one out of the water. Gary Oldman as the villain is incredible. I love the journey that it takes Poe on. The visuals are great. It's right up there with all the best DreamWorks sequels. Kung Fu Panda 2, endlessly rewatchable, endlessly fun. That's an A, 51.27 for me. Now,
yeah, fair.
Let's get to number 8, a 52.50, a movie that now I go back and I rewatch the movies that are close to the top 10. Just give it one more pass and see, are things in the spot that I think they should be. And this year there is a lot of movement because this movie was number 15 and it moved all the way up to number 8. That has not happened very much. But I could not deny how much fun I had watching Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I know that we've reviewed that already, but even since the review, I liked watching it so much more.
Ghosty.
Because the team is so much fun to watch. And I think that's what really makes the movie. I know that Tom Cruise is great, but I think that this is maybe even the best team movie for Mission Impossible. And that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
Number 7. Let's see. I've got A, 57.87. So still pretty low A's at number 7. I've got The Help. I know a lot of people really don't like this movie.
That would be a top 3 movie for me this year, I think.
And including some people that were in the movie. Viola Davis doesn't seem to be a big fan of this.
Really?
But look, I mean, Viola, you were great in the movie. Everyone put their best foot forward as far as the acting in this movie goes. I think the writing's pretty good, and I don't think it's earned the reputation of something like I know The Blind Side is one that I went back and rewatched, and I was like, okay, that one I can kind of see.
It could be like better. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that like they really play into like the whole white savior thing in that one. This, I think that things like this were going on, and it's also based on a book, which my mom saw this like first day, and apparently she really enjoyed it because she liked the book. But it is a long one, but it's a good one, and I think that it's stuck around for a reason.
It's got some iconic scenes too, like you were smart, you were kind. Yeah,
yeah, and the shit pie.
Yeah, well,
winning
yeah,
Octavia Spencer,
that might be the most iconic scene.
Winning Octavia Spencer an Oscar. Number 6. This is the most rewatched movie for me of 2011. The movie I go back to the most. The movie that is the easiest rewatch to me. Maybe because it's only an hour and a half long. I don't know, but that's Source Code.
Yeah.
This one is an A62.37. This was the movie that really turned me on to Jake Gyllenhaal, where I'm like, this guy's got something. Because there's a lot of this movie that's on his shoulders, and his chemistry with both Michelle Monaghan and Vera Farmiga, one of which he's only talking to through the screen. I don't know if either of you have seen the movie Source Code, but if you haven't, which I'm getting shaking heads, please watch the movie. You will not be disappointed. Again, it's just an hour and a half sci-fi movie. It's got that whole reliving 8 minutes premise, something like that we've seen in something like Edge of Tomorrow or Happy Death Day, but I'm telling you that this really makes it work, and it utilizes that premise extremely well. Number 5, A63.15, so still not as high as we should be for the first, a top 10 list. That's The Descendants. George Clooney, who I think should have won the Oscar for Best Actor this year. He gives an unbelievable performance. I think Shailene Woodley's incredibly underrated here as well. The Descendants is definitely one that if you haven't seen it, it's one that I don't really want to explain because I never saw a trailer for this before I saw the movie, and I had no idea where anything was going. But Brandon, it's by the same guy that made the Holdovers, so I would definitely recommend checking this out. Number 4. All right, we're starting to get into some good ones. Not the other ones weren't good, but we're at an A73.47, a movie that I feel like should be in a top 10, and that's Warrior. Have neither of you seen Warrior before?
I have. I keep forgetting to add it to my list of.
You talking about the UFC movie?
Yeah.
I've seen that like 4 times.
Okay, good.
An awesome movie.
Because it's a great movie.
You could argue that's like one of the best sports movies of the decade.
It's certainly on the list, that's for sure. Joel Edgerton, Tom Hardy. I'll tell you that this movie had me like, okay, Bane's about to kick the shit out of Batman, because this movie came out a few months before Dark Knight Rises. And I'm like, oh, Batman's fucking toast.
The whole like plot twist that they're can I spoil it now that it's been 15 years? The whole plot twist that they're like brothers is crazy.
Well, it's kind of established pretty early in the movie, so it's not really
established
a twist.
Early. It's not a twist, but it's like, but then they end up having to fight. It's just very, very unique way they went about that plot, I guess.
In my Letterboxd review, I said that Tom Hardy is a damn tornado in this movie, and that's kind of just his fights are so much fun to watch in this that I
have the fighter in my Hall of Fame. This would get dangerously close, I think.
And Nick Nolte is great too as the drunk dad.
I am not even fronting. This is a top 3 movie for me this year.
All right. Well, you still have somebody. I mean, you gotta watch Source Code, gotta watch Descendants, and I'm curious if you've ever seen my number 3 movie. The bronze medal goes to perhaps the most acclaimed movie of 2011 that wasn't even nominated for Best Picture for some reason, that being Drive.
Mm-hmm.
This thing really, really, really grew on me. Ryan Gosling and Nicholas Winding Refn's incredible. I don't even know what to call this drama, but I've always preferred the Project Hail Mary, Nice Guys Ryan Gosling, where he's got more of a comedic edge. But the silent I will kill you without saying a word, Ryan Gosling, it works for me too. And this is the most iconic version of that Ryan Gosling that we have ever gotten. Between this and Blade Runner 2049, Brandon, if you liked the Ryan Gosling in that movie where he didn't really say much, but we could handle his shit, this is very similar in that regard. And Albert Brooks, like I'll tell you right now, for the Mitchells, I would have given Albert Brooks the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. He's great in this as the villain, and he wasn't even nominated for an Oscar. So the Oscars had a really bad year that year, but he is fantastic, and so is Ryan Gosling. Silver medal. This changed hands. The gold changed hands on rewatch, which I did not expect to happen. But the movie that I originally had expected to win the gold ended up taking the gold. But for a while, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 was my number 1 of 2011. It ends up at number 2 at an A 91.14. This is just an emotionally satisfying conclusion to the 8-film series that, we've gone over this in the reviews. We all grew up with it, and it just, my review of the movie on Letterboxd is literally just an all caps emotional fulfillment, because that's what this movie is. It ends arcs. You get an amazing Alan Rickman performance as you get to learn about Snape, and I think that that's really the heart of the movie. And this is what you want out of a closing chapter of a series. But it is not number 1 for me. And my number 1 movie is very different than a lot of my other number 1s, partially because it got an A 99.68. So it's very, 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 very close to that A+. But most years this would be like a number 5 or something like that. But it does get the gold, and it's got a special place in my heart. The number 1 movie of 2011 is 50-50. This movie was directed by Jonathan Levine and stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a guy in his late 20s who is diagnosed with cancer, and his friend Seth Rogen is kind of helping him. He's going to therapy with his extremely young therapist, played by Anna Kendrick, and the stuff that goes on with him and her and Bryce Dallas Howard, his mom, Angelica Houston. I also think this movie makes Seattle feel like a character because he lives in Seattle. But this is an extremely... When you hear a movie about cancer, you don't think comedy. But this movie manages to pull off the comedy and the drama both very well. And I think that if one of them didn't work, the other would feel really awkward. Like if it was too funny, then the drama would feel kind of like, all right, we're kind of killing the vibe here. But if it was too dramatic and not funny, it'd be like, why the hell are they making all these jokes in this very serious movie? But it meshed together very well here. And I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt should have won the Oscar this year. Again, wasn't even nominated. Don't know where the Oscars were this year, what Harvey Weinstein was doing, but truly terrible. The end of this movie gets me every single time. If Inception and 500 Days of Summer didn't make you fall in love with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an actor, then 50-50 would definitely have been the one to get you there, because he does some special stuff here.
maybe I'm looking at IMDb wrong, but I just have a couple of questions for you for movies that I feel like were left out, but maybe I just missed you ranking them. Uh, The Cabin in the Woods is not a 2011 movie, correct?
Cabin in the Woods was released in theaters in April of 2012. So
Okay, no, okay, and then Margin Call, same thing, right?
I did not see Margin Call.
Okay, but that
So
was
that
released
one,
in 2011.
I am seeing that was released in 2011, but that did not make my cut.
Okay, that's
Um,
fair.
the other one that does tend to get confused as a 2011 release is The Raid.
Okay.
Because it was released at a festival in 2011. It was released in
Yeah.
2012. So that's
What
I
I
have already seen The Raid.
figured.
So as well as Cabin in the Woods. So
I
they will
have
both be on my
Margin
2012.
Call and Drive next to each other in a bin on DVD, so I will watch both of those. Very soon.
I would recommend that. Yeah, Margin Call just didn't end up making the list. But that's my list. 50-50 tops the list. Not a particular. It's definitely going to be the weakest number one of the decade by far, because every other A plus this decade, I know for a fact, is an A plus of at least 30%. So this is gonna be, it's a pretty low number one. You know, it's not great, but the movie itself is fantastic, and if you have not seen it, I would highly recommend it. I mean, Seth Rogen in a dramatic role. You know, we've seen him in more of that stuff recently, but in 2011, this was definitely a step that we had not seen from him as of yet. So thank Christ that year is done. I hated 2011 so much. 2012 has so much fun stuff to look forward
we're
to.
off to a good year. I'm excited.
I mean, I know Brandon loves just in the middle of podcasts listing all the great movies from
2012.
from a year. Like 2012, we've got like I know that Tommy's gonna hype up the Avengers. We've got the Avengers. We've got the Hunger Games. We've got Django Unchained, Silver Linings Playbook, Looper, Dark Knight Rises, Zero Dark 30, Argo. We got Skyfall. We got Perks of Being a Wallflower. We got Wreck-It
Sounds
Ralph.
like you're doing my job for me. So
We got 21 Jump Street. We got Pitch Perfect. We got Les Miserables. We've got The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey. If you really hate yourself, we've got Moonrise Kingdom. We got
The Gray, man.
We do have The Gray. Yeah, we do have The Gray. We have about 8 Liam Neeson movies in 2012. That man was working. He had The Gray. He had The Gray. He had Taken 2. He had Battleship. He had Wrath of the Titans. He was in The Dark Knight Rises for a little bit. They re-released Phantom Menace.
You know what I
consider
theaters. Battleship the worst thing Jesse Plemons has ever been in?
Hey man, I haven't seen Battleship yet, so we will have to see. Expectations are extremely low.
I think he was in that movie. So yeah,
I've already watched 39 movies for 2012. Brandon, I already have 5 A+ movies.
Well, damn, what you missed Moneyball, and that's okay.
Tommy, were there any movies on that list that you thought should have been A+ movies that weren't?
Nope.
I can't believe you didn't think Moneyball was an A+ movie.
My list.
And what was your number one?
My number one was Harry Potter.
Okay.
Interesting, because Mitchell was just like, "Fuck the difference."
My
number 2 movie. 10. Were you listening to the words I was saying?
I'm kidding.
My top 10 was.
Let's hear it.
Was from 10 going down was X-Men First Class, Warhorse, 50-50, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Mission Impossible, Horrible Bosses, Warrior, The Help, Kung Fu Panda 2, and Harry Potter.
You have Warrior on your top 10 list, and you couldn't even like stomach having Moneyball like near it. Like, okay,
settle down with the judgment, sir.
Warhorse. Okay? I forgot how much you enjoyed Warhorse.
I liked Warhorse.
I like Wars too. So.
But you liked Warhorse more than X-Men or Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I'm trying to take. Yeah, you've got Cars 2 way too high.
They were all very close in the range. Like the next ones up was Fast 5, The Descendants, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then after that, it kind of going downhill more.
Yeah.
But they were all very close runner-ups.
I'm telling you, Source Code, that's the one you got to watch.
Yeah, Source Code and Drive are the two higher up movies that I still need to watch.
I'm very curious. You might not like Drive because there's scenes where Ryan Gosling is literally just staring, and that might piss you off a little bit. But I'm telling you, Source Code is the one that I feel like. Let me make a guess. I think that it would make your number 4 of 2011. That would be my guess. Could go higher, could go lower, but that's around the range that I would expect if you were to watch it. So, all right. Well, that wraps up 2011. Again, thank God, because this was not a good year. This is probably the worst year that I'm ever going to talk about if I'm keeping it a buck. I cannot imagine a year being worse than this and a year having less inspiring stuff to talk about as we get further along in the episode. Not that, stuff like 50-50 and Harry Potter and Drive weren't great, but they're no Inception, they're no Toy Story 3 or Social Network. So it is what it is. Like Black Swan would have taken number 1 easily in 2011 if it had just been delayed a little bit. But that did not happen. So 50-50, congratulations, you're the winner. Next up for us, we are going to talk about Predator and Prey. Again, autism making an appearance in the Predator movies. Brandon, you still haven't watched those, so you still have no. Tommy knows. Tommy watched the Predator today. He knows what I'm talking about. Stupid ass Predator.
Let me tell you, I was giggling throughout.
What does he drop? Movie. Does he drop 2 picks and go 87?
I honestly just kept thinking of Mitchell the entire movie and just laughing. So I couldn't take the movie seriously because of what Mitchell said. And I was like, it's true.
It ain't great. And then after that, hey, we talk about David Fincher a little bit here. Fight Club and 7. Iconic movies back to back. Can't wait to talk about those. It's been a long one. Good night. Bye-bye.